We? Who's we? There is no we.
Right there, and welcome back everyone. Today, I'm going to be doing something completely original, and something that I don't think I've seen a single other YouTuber do before. Spin a random wheel. In all seriousness though, I am completely ripping this idea from my favourite Platinum Trophy YouTubers, and so I'll leave a link to their channels in the description. Instead of games though, I'm going to be randomly selecting 2 films from the IMDb Top 100, watching them, and giving you my thoughts. Now, because I am an absolute legend, I have already seen a fair few of the Top 100 before, and so if the wheel lands on a film I've already seen, I'll just re-roll it until we get one that I haven't. I don't want to limit myself to just the IMDb Top 100, and so if anyone watching has a film outside of the Top 100 that they'd want me to watch, comment it down below and I'll add it to the wheel for next time. I won't pick and choose, every single comment that's left will be read and added to the wheel, no questions asked. And with that, all that's left to do is spin the wheel. So let's see what our first film's going to be. The Pianist! Okay, great. Not entirely sure what this is about, but I've heard good things, so let's give it a go.
3 hours later.
Fuck. I was not prepared for that in the slightest. That was one of the most astonishing yet depressing films I've ever seen. For those who don't know, The Pianist is about Władysław Szpilman, I'm sorry for my pronunciation, a Polish Jew living in Warsaw under Nazi occupation during World War II. We follow his life as Poland is torn apart by the Germans, and how against all odds he manages to survive. This film is a true story, based off the autobiography of Szpilman, who in fact lived until he was 88 years old, dying in 2000. We join Szpilman in 1939, where he is working as a radio station pianist, and he and his family are living comfortably in Warsaw. Although the threat of the Nazis is looming, they believe it will pass, and the Allies will step in before any real damage is done. Szpilman is almost arrogant about the situation, and believes his influence and respect as a musician will allow him and his family safety. However, as we all know, and as we see, that was not the case. All the Polish Jews were moved to the Warsaw Ghetto, a 3.4 kilometre squared area that housed almost 500,000 people, which equated to on average 9 people per room. They were fed next to nothing and completely walled in on all sides. The scenes of the Nazis raiding the ghettos were some of the most harrowing of the film. You just simply cannot believe what you are watching actually happened. Szpilman's family is then selected to be sent to the concentration camps. However, fortunately or unfortunately, he is separated from them and escapes his fate. From this point on, the film is purely about Szpilman's survival. He is set up in empty apartments by friends, but is eventually always found out and is sent on the run again. He is constantly moving from one abandoned house to the next, scrounging any scraps of food he can find, and desperately trying to avoid capture by the German troops. By the end of the film, he is almost unrecognisable, stick-thin, barely clinging to life, and living in the attic of an abandoned house. It is here that possibly the best scene in the film transpires. After seemingly being discovered by a Nazi captain, we believe it's all over and our hearts drop. However, in a bizarre twist of fate, the captain asks Szpilman to play the piano, and after hearing him play, decides to let him live, and even comes back later on to give him food. The captain's motives for doing so aren't stated, but the film leads us to believe that perhaps it was Szpilman's music that saved his life. The captain was revealed to be Wilm Hosenfeld, who in fact helped to hide and rescue several other Polish Jews during the occupation and later died in Soviet captivity in 1952. Shortly after this, Poland is liberated and Szpilman finally emerges from hiding into safety. Interestingly, Roman Polanski, the director of this film, actually grew up in the Polish ghettos and experienced the atrocities of World War II firsthand. Although it must have been incredibly difficult to recreate these scenes, I don't think anyone else would have been able to make this film as excellent as it was. Also, Adrian Brody, who played Szpilman, is remarkable here and well and truly deserved his Oscar. This film is one of the most brutal and unflinching portrayals of Nazi Germany I have seen, and after watching it you'll be thankful we live in the free society that we do today. I highly recommend this one. Okay then, time for spin number 2. Let's see what the wheel has in store. Let's hope for something slightly more upbeat this time. Witness for the Prosecution. Definitely heard of that one to be fair, but I do usually enjoy law and trial films, so let's see how it is.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this film was released in 1957, I was slightly concerned. However, to my joy, there was no reason at all to be concerned because this film was actually great. Witness for the Prosecution is an Agatha Christie story, so you know it's going to be good, and follows a veteran British barrister, Sir Wilfrid Robarts, who must defend his client in a murder trial, who claims he didn't do it, as they do. Sir Wilfrid is recovering from a heart attack, and so has been instructed to stay away from all criminal cases to avoid any stress. But the allure of solving the mystery of who really committed the crime proves too strong, and so he takes the case anyway. What ensues is a classic trial room film that will keep you guessing right until the very end. I did think it was maybe a bit run-of-the-mill, however that completely changed when I reached the final 10 minutes. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think I counted 5 separate twists all happening within those last few minutes, which just took the film from pretty good to excellent. Nowadays, some of our films are so ridiculous and reliant on CGI. It was quite refreshing to watch a film that solely relied on the performance of the actors and the delivery of the lines. It's a difficult thing to do to keep the viewer engaged through just dialogue, but this film nails it. Every conversation and interaction was interesting. The standout for me though was Charles Lawton, who played Sir Wilfrid. He was brilliant throughout and had me laughing quite a lot, which I wasn't expecting at all. I also found it quite amusing how non-PC this film is compared to our nowadays standards. I can't quite remember how many times Sir Wilfrid slags off his nurse, but I'll show you a short compilation now.
Is there too much of draft? Shall I roll up the window?
Just roll up your mouth. You talk too much. If I'd have known how much you talked, I'd never have come out of my coma.
Teeny weeny steps now, Sir Wilfrid. We must remember we had a teeny weeny heart attack.
Oh, shut up.
I shall take you directly to a rest home or resort, someplace quiet, far off, like Bermuda.
Shut up. You just want to see me in those nasty shorts.
It was just really intriguing to watch a film this old and see the differences between it and modern cinema. Overall, I would definitely recommend this film. Don't be put off by the black and white and the old style. It's 100% worth a watch. And with that, we've reached the end of the video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. Now, as long as this video doesn't crash and burn, there'll be a second episode to this series, so make sure to comment other films down below. Or, if you just simply haven't had enough of me and need to watch another video, why not check out this one here, where I watched every single video game film adaptation.